Hi everyone, this is John Girardi with another in our 40 videos for 40 Days for Life series. 40 Days for Life is the international campaign of prayer and presence outside abortion clinics throughout the country and throughout the world. If you want to participate in our clinic here in Fresno, to stand outside of the Planned Parenthood on Fulton Street and pray with us, please do get in touch with us at 559-229-2229. Email us at info@rtlcc.org or visit the website rtlcc.org. Today, we're going to talk about Planned Parenthood versus Casey. We're sort of talking about the cases that are sort of the foundation of abortion law in the United States today, which Dobbs v. Jackson Women's Health Organization, the upcoming Supreme Court case that'll be decided probably this upcoming June, is hopefully going to take down. So we're going to talk today about Planned Parenthood versus Casey, which a lot of people don't know about, but it's really, in some ways, more important than Roe v. Wade. I like to say that it's Roe v. Wade's successor case. It sort of takes over for Roe. It replaces a lot of Roe v. Wade's legal reasoning and allows us to do slightly different things with abortion regulation than Roe does, while still preserving the, I think, fundamentally unjust legal regime of preserving abortion for all 9 months of pregnancy and for any reason as a constitutional right that state legislatures largely can't touch. So what did Planned Parenthood versus Casey do? Planned Parenthood versus Casey, but this was a case from 1992. By that time, Republican presidents had nominated 8 of the 9 Supreme Court justices, and somehow several of Ronald Reagan and George H.W. Bush's picks wound up stabbing us in the back, chiefly Anthony Kennedy, Sandra Day O'Connor, and David Souter. All of them, those 2 presidents, Reagan and George H.W. Bush's worst decisions. So what happened in this case? Basically, the court said we uphold abortion as a protected liberty interest, not a fundamental constitutional right, but a protected liberty interest. Basically, it's protected by the Constitution. States can't regulate it, but it's slightly less than a fundamental right. And basically what they meant was states can regulate abortion in certain ways around the periphery. So states can pass certain kinds of laws requiring better informed consent before an abortion can be done, things like 24-hour waiting periods, things like letting a parent of a pregnant minor know or requiring that parent of a pregnant minor give his or her consent before the minor can have an abortion, certain kinds of health and safety regulations, 24-hour waiting periods, etc. Those kinds of things are upheld. Nevertheless, Planned Parenthood versus Casey maintains that abortion as such cannot be outlawed effectively for any point of the pregnancy. Now, Roe v. Wade was based around a trimester structure. States can't touch abortion in the first trimester, can only pass certain kinds of health and safety restrictions in the second trimester, and can ban abortion. Well, not really ban abortion. They have to have a health exception. They can ban abortion as long as they have an exception for pregnancies that implicate maternal health. And as we know from the last video, Doe v. Bolton, Roe v. Wade's sister case, defined health so broadly that it encompasses essentially every single pregnancy. In the case of Planned Parenthood versus Casey, they threw out that structure and they replaced it with something around fetal viability. Basically, before fetal viability, states can't regulate abortion at all. After fetal viability, states can ban abortion, but again, they have to have a Doe versus Bolton-esque health exception for any pregnancy that implicates maternal health. And as we know, every pregnancy adversely implicates maternal health enough to justify an abortion. So this was basically moving deck chairs around on the Titanic. It changed a few things. It allows some greater regulation, but it still does not allow any broad regulation by state governments or the federal government to ban abortion as such for any duration of a pregnancy. And it is that fundamental provision, whether or not states can ban abortion before fetal viability, that is being challenged this year in the upcoming Supreme Court case Dobbs v. Jackson Women's Health Organization. It's so bizarre, by the way, that the court fixated on fetal viability, which is a highly shifting standard. Much of what fetal viability is measuring is how well developed a child's lungs are. And I've never really thought of the lung as maybe the center or locus of human identity or personality. I don't know, maybe the brain or the heart or something, but certainly never the lung. Fetal viability also shifts depending on how good your NICU is. There are some NICUs that are really, fixated and oriented around having a program for keeping alive 22-week-old babies. Some don't really do that. Some have, do not resuscitate orders and don't, really want to go to really great lengths to save any baby younger than 24 weeks. Some NICUs are really good and their fetal viability range is therefore earlier. Some NICUs are not as good and their fetal viability range is later. It's totally dependent on technology. And that's why I always thought that was such a silly dividing line for the court to decide, well, human beings before that point, before viability, we're not protecting them. After fetal viability, we'll pretend to give them some protection. We are really hopeful that this whole regime will just be abolished in this upcoming Supreme Court case, Dobbs v. Jackson Women's Health Organization, and that states can just be allowed to regulate abortion as they see fit. For Right to Life of Central California, I'm John Girardi, and I hope you'll get in touch with us to sign up to be out on the sidewalk with us, praying and interacting with women and couples going into and out of Planned Parenthood. Together, we can end abortion. God bless you.